Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast.
Welcome back to the lounge.
You are here, ready for the information we'll be laying down.
Yes, like an earworm burrowing into your brain.
Yes, all the information you did not know you wanted to know.
Yes, we'll just dump those nuggets right in there.
Yeah. Make sure you remember all these for the facts when you're at the bar or hanging out with your friends, family.
Yeah, maybe a Jeopardy question.
Oh, that would be good. I have a little Jeopardy segment on here. That'd be good.
Or you just like, what's the capital something? And you say it, and they're like, how'd you know that? And you're like, the Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast.
Duh. Today we're doing like world records and human feats and stuff like that.
Yeah, human feats.
Yeah, not like we're not gonna be talking all about feet. We're not doctors here.
No.
Was that like a podiatrist?
That is a podiatrist.
Yeah, hell,
yeah.
I had to go to a podiatrist one time.
Yeah, the Foot Clan.
Yeah, the Foot Clan. That's a good one. Before we get into that, I wanted to give a shout out to Black Magic TV. They are on YouTube. They do a bunch of interviews, and then also the guy, I don't know if he owns or runs like a shop, but he's always working on like vans and bikes and stuff. So,
Right.
But they have. So if you're a fan of our One Night Standard podcasts, the music episodes, or the tidbits we toss out, they always generally are covering kind of obscure bands and stuff like that throughout their conversations. So,
Locals?
well, they are from Kansas City.
Oh, okay.
So they do talk about some local stuff to Kansas.
Midwestern.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
Some Midwest reps.
Right.
So check out Black Magic TV if, give one a listen and maybe you'll like it. I don't know.
All right. If you like it, tell them, get on their comments and say that you heard about them on the Blue Ribbon Lounge.
Yeah,
podcast.
fucking spread the word.
Yes.
Also, big birthday coming up. Rebecca from Abernathy's, my wife. It's her birthday coming up. Happy birthday, baby.
Your wife?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As a birthday surprise, if you're listening to this, feel free to turn it off and say you listened to it. I will thank you. I love you very much.
So her birthday surprise is to listen to our podcast?
Her birthday surprise is to not have to listen to it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
get it.
there you
Oh,
go.
All right.
Playing the long game.
Even though every other Monday you should play it in the shop.
Yeah, just play it. Even if the volume's down, we need that listen.
Yeah, the background.
We need those listens. So how you been, Davey?
Good.
Excellent. Carry on.
Next question.
So I'm looking for a new computer for the podcast production.
Yeah.
I had a couple extra bucks saved up finally, and I had this terrible marketplace experience.
Oh, Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
So this guy had a computer, had all the things that I think I wanted on it, and he was first. I messaged him a whole bunch, and I was like, "Are you available Sunday or Saturday or something?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." I texted him like half of Saturday,
Yeah.
and never got back to me.
Like at noon, give him time to wake up.
Yeah.
Not hitting him up at 8.
Right. Yeah. And maybe it was even Friday I was hitting him up, because then I would have gotten off of work and be able to go pick it up. But he never messaged me back. And then later he's like, "Oh, dude, sorry, I got a new phone, and so I didn't get your messages until now." And I'm like, "All right, cool, whatever. Those things happen." And so we schedule a time to meet. I get to the destination across town for me. I'm assuming pretty close to him, because that's kind of how you roll.
Yeah.
I'm making the purchase, so I'll come to you.
Right.
And get there, wait for 30 minutes, no show. And then he and maybe that's when he got the new computer or the new phone or whatever, but no show. I go home and I'm chilling out, and he's like, "Oh, dude, sorry, I missed you. I can come bring it to you." And I'm like, "Okay, here's my address." 'Cause I mean, people buy stuff from me. I give them my address all the time.
Okay.
That's the perks of being a white man.
I guess, but not really.
You're correct, and we'll get to that at the end of the story.
All right.
And never shows up. Never texts me that he's not going to show up. Never shows up.
Yeah.
The next day, he's like, "Hey, I have to apologize, this and that." I'm like, "Okay, well, can we meet again?" And he's like, "Yeah, at the same spot as before." I go there. He texts me. He's like, "Oh, dude, my kid just fell off his bike. I got to take him to the hospital." And I'm like, "Okay, thanks for letting me know."
Yeah, you didn't like Venmo him the money or anything, did you?
No.
Okay.
No. And so I carry on about my day. And he's like, "Okay, I can meet you now." So I go back to this place, still a no-show, and I message him a bunch of times, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I'm buying a new car. I'll be there in a little bit." Another 15 minutes rolls by, and I'm like, I'm fucking done with this.
Yeah.
And so I leave, and like 10 minutes later, he's like, "I'll be 3 minutes." And I'm like, so far you've been 28 minutes from the last time I spoke to you, which was already 30 minutes late. and then he's like, "Okay, I'll meet you at your house." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not there." And then he doesn't respond. He's like, "Hey, I'm at the address you gave me to me before." And I'm like, "I'm not there. I'm not going to be there for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, this guy knows I have at least, $500 for this computer. And he's at my house. And he knows I'm not there. So I'm like calling all of my neighbors.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are there any weird cars out in front of my house? And they're like, "Yes, there's a blue car out here." And I'm like, okay, does it look like he's in the car? Or like, is anybody in my house? And they're like, "No, he's still in the car." So I'm like, this guy is trying to rob me or waiting for me to get home to beat me up and take my money. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what kind of scam this is.
Right.
And at this point, I'm like, well, before he was at my house and there was like visual evidence that this person exists, I was like, I can't figure out what kind of
scam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I get here, and he's in the car, and he looks like a normal dude. If he was like a huge guy that like looked menacing, I would have maybe kept driving around the block or something.
Yeah.
But he looked like a fairly normal guy, maybe a little strung out, and like just bought a new phone supposedly, just had kid medical bills supposedly, just bought a new car supposedly, and it's like, I would think you'd want $500 at that point.
Right.
I would feel like you'd be like, I need that now.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this point, I'm like, I do not want nothing to do with this guy. I walk up to his car, and I like pinch his door closed, and I'm like, "Hey, roll down your window." And he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, I decided I don't want the computer. Good luck selling it if you just be on your way." And he's like kind of confused by it all. And I'm like, "Don't want it. No big deal. Have a good one."
Yeah.
And so he was like super confused, kind of smelled like booze.
Oh.
Yeah. And so maybe he's got bigger problems than I need to care about. But he takes off, and like 10 minutes later he texts me or messages me, "Fucking weirdo." And I wanted to burn into him so bad, but I was just like, I need this guy out of my life.
Yeah, it's not worth it at this point.
Oh, no.
And it probably wasn't a scam. He just probably one of those people that are self-involved.
Yeah, he's probably super flaky.
Or, just like a space case.
Yeah.
Like, I'll meet you there, and then gets busy, and then, oh, yeah, we can go ride a bike. Oh, shit. Oh, hey, this guy's texting me. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I'll pay a couple extra bucks for shipping or something.
Yeah.
But that was my weekend for the most part.
That is crazy. I never do that stuff.
Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, we did once, sold like the kid's bike, but it was like I went to a parking lot, and then they met there.
Which is how a lot of times I meet people, and like we just sold like some big furniture, and I'm like, I'm not gonna haul this somewhere in my truck to have somebody else pick it up. And yeah, I mean, I've met other places, and I probably will from now on because that was too much.
Yeah.
The juice was not worth the squeeze on that one.
It just doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
Did you do any St. Patrick's Day stuff?
I did go down to the wife's shop. I thought you were going to be there, but I should have texted you.
Okay.
I went down there and helped her out for a little bit, but my kid's 14, and so we cut out kind of early before the parade.
Yeah. Well, we ended up not having a babysitter in the morning, and it was cold.
Oh, so cold.
And like with the wind, we're like, I don't know if it's worth it to drag the kids out there, and it's a beads thing. It's not candy. It's more of an adult parade.
For sure.
Like,
I haven't been drinking, and I did really want a green beer.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I always have liked having a green beer on St. Patrick's Day. Or around St. Patrick's Day.
Never been into the green beer. No.
It's just food coloring.
Yeah.
It's just like eating cake frosting.
Kinda, yeah. But I've never like, oh, I gotta get a green beer, but I'll get a whiskey or something, or should have got a black and tan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Is there black and tan's the right way to say it?
Yeah.
But there's like some ways to not say it. Like Irish car bomb, you should not be saying to people.
Yeah, but that's different though.
Well, right,
because you drop it's like a Boilermaker, but it's with Guinness and whatever shot you drop in there.
Yeah, but I think there's like a negative term for black and tans as well. I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
Oh, I thought that's just like Bass or something, and then Guinness on top.
So I think it has the black and tan has something to do with also like uniforms in Ireland.
Okay.
Between like the IRA and whatever the bigger government is.
It's the British government.
Is it the British government that like has control over part of it?
Yeah,
Southern Ireland.
Mm-hmm. That's what the whole movie Braveheart was about.
Oh, okay.
Trying to kick him out.
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Yeah,
before Mel Gibson went more crazy.
Right.
But yeah, so I think black and tan's like a decent way to say it.
Yeah, and sometimes a whole Guinness is too much.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like a black and tan kind of evens it out.
Yeah.
But went to Sports Fans.
Okay.
Just because they're good food and they're cheap beer.
There you go.
And did the George Thorogood.
The George Thorogood. What's that?
It's when you get
when you get bad to the bone.
No, well, kinda.
Oh, one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Dave, riggedy wrecked over here.
It's not that bad because you just get it like on the rocks. It's like a shot.
Yeah.
But it's on the rocks, so you can sip it.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially 3 drinks, right?
Yeah. And I wasn't going crazy.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah. And then went to.
Were you alone? Were you also drinking alone?
No, but my rent was due. No, me and the old lady went out, and we were contemplating like going to the fairground and doing the whole thing. But it's like it's cold.
Yeah.
A little too old for the like woo kind of drinking.
Did you end up getting one of your corned beef and cabbage? No. I know you're posted about that. So.
I was looking for no.
Yeah,
and then
I'm surprised you don't make that.
I did one time, and I think the seasoning packet they gave with the corned beef was weird.
Oh, okay.
So, in my mind, the best way to get it is in like a big, when they make a huge batch of it. Except they had it at work, and that cafeteria just sucks.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's gone way down.
Nobody is a chef in there. Like
no.
Nobody really knows how to cook.
Well, when the corned beef comes out and it's a big slab, like steak, looking, I'm like, it's supposed to be like shredded almost.
Yeah. Were they like just cutting off big thick pieces of it?
And it was like really hard to cut and
yeah, because it's supposed to like kind of melt in your mouth. Right?
And it was not like that.
Hard pass.
Yeah, because I was gonna, like I said, go to the fairgrounds because they had the whole thing going on, and that would have been like the kind I wanted, but it was too cold, and we just settled on Sports Fans.
Yeah, who I bet would know where to get good corned beef and cabbage. Lee and Lacey.
It's like Mystic Lee and Lacey Treasures.
Yeah, Mystic LL Treasures. Check them out if you need some good vibes.
Yeah.
I highly recommend Black Tourmaline.
Black Tourmaline.
Yeah, it absorbs bad energy. But anyways, they're pretty into, I think either one or both of them has some pretty hard Irish heritage.
Okay.
They've been there a couple of times, so yeah, if Lee or Lacey are listening, let us know where some good corned beef and cabbages in the old QC.
Yeah, and check out their website. They had a crystal on there that looked exactly like a chicken wing or like a chicken leg.
Oh, really?
But like the little, like a chicken wing.
Oh, okay. That's
like,
cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds like they're doing pretty good on the road.
It's the dream.
I watch it, so.
Yeah.
A guy at my work just got a van, and he's doing van life, so I'm super jealous of that.
Oh.
But he's like the test run. So if he gets like let go to be able to work from his van, you know, then I can be like, you did let this guy do it.
Yeah,
I get to do it
seems
now.
to be working. Okay.
Yeah. So here's hoping.
Yeah, that'd be the best way to do it. Because I am not one of those like Instagram TikTokers or whatever, so you can't get on there and take pictures of like your wife's butt and be like, buy this granola bar, check us out on the thing.
Yeah, it's interesting how many of those people are like super fit. like fucking stop everywhere and do yoga and 10-mile hikes and stuff.
Yeah, and then get that picture of them doing a handstand with the sunset or whatever. Yeah.
That's a lot of thought.
It is a lot of thought. And if you've ever been to a place and then seen people doing that, it's like, can't you just enjoy the nature? You have to like blog about it or do a snap for it.
Yeah, or like watching videos of like people taking video of other people taking like selfies.
Yeah.
And it's like 10 people like taking selfies and in their videos it looks like they're the only person there. And,
yeah. I've seen the ones where it's like an Instagram model, and then they're showing how it really is, and there's one guy with like a ring thing, and he's trying to hold the camera while she's like doing her little dance, and it's like, okay, that's the friend zone guy. The friend zone's deep on that one.
Friend zone. Let's get into some world records.
You got some world records?
Yeah, or human feats or whatever you got.
Oh, okay.
I did look up how the Guinness World Records started.
Okay, a bunch of Irish guys in a bar, and they're about like, I bet I could throw this caper farther than you can. And then the Guinness representative happened to be there, and like, I'll be the officiator.
And like the first version of it was like, John McLeary was able to throw a beer bottle 10 meters.
Yeah, and they wrote it on like probably a chalkboard at the bar.
No, Dave, that's
okay.
wrong. So it was actually in County Wexford, Ireland. County Wexford, Ireland. There was a bird hunting party in 1951, and one of the guys there was Sir Hugh Beaver. I'm like, that's that's almost a porn name right there.
Yeah.
Hugh. But he was a British engineer and the managing director of the Guinness Brewery.
All right.
So after the hunting party got over, they were, just talking about how fast birds move and like kind of spouted into what's the fastest bird, how fast was that bird going. And I don't know, I guess he lost a bunch of sleep about it.
Thinking about how fast birds can go.
Yeah. And like maybe how that information wasn't readily available to find.
Oh.
I don't know when the encyclopedia came out, like Britannica and shit.
Oh, it's been out for a while.
That's what I was thinking. And maybe that type of stuff isn't in there. But as they left the hunting trip, this Hugh Beaver kind of went in search of the answer. And like any good businessman, he saw the opportunity to solve a problem. And as, like you were saying before, in like pub and tavern conversation, it's a lot of arguing on what's better, what's bigger, what's stronger. And they brought it to the Guinness Brewery, and they decided to brand a booklet of records.
Okay. So, collect them all into one place.
Yeah. And so it turned into a marketing kind of ploy where they would give it to pubs and taverns so it could solve, conversation or bring up conversation. If you get into a long enough conversation, you'd probably drink more beers.
Right. And if you're watching like a sport thing, it's like, Pele's made the most goals, and someone's like, no, I think it was this other guy, and then the bartender can be like, actually, boys, here.
Yeah. And so it all started in 1951, and by 1954 enter journalist twins Norris and Ross McHarter. They were known fact checkers who worked within London publishing. And so they did a lot of traveling to confirm information for like encyclopedias and news stories and things like that.
All right.
So they were already kind of doing the job. And then the Guinness Brewery kind of employed them to compile all this information into one booklet.
Yeah.
So 16 weeks of 90 hours each later.
Jeez.
Yeah, these guys were working through bank holidays and weekends. They put together the first Guinness Book of World Records, and it cost $35,000 to make in 1954.
Okay.
So that's approximately $321,000 today.
And that's for them traveling around and getting all this information.
Yep. They originally printed in 1955 50,000 copies that were published for promotional distribution, and they just started growing from there. So that first volume, it was like 50,000 copies, and then they ended up doing like 500,000 copies and like distributing it all over.
Yeah.
And then now what we have, you know, the scholastic book fairs that come to schools. I have picked one up. I didn't always pick one up, but
right. I think we actually picked one up or got it from the library to check it out.
Actually, Guinness Book of World Records is supposedly the most stolen book from libraries.
Oh, really?
Yeah, isn't that kind of funny?
That's kind of cool.
So that's kind of how the Guinness Book of World Records started. And now I think Guinness and the Guinness Beer and Guinness Book of World Records are separate entities. And I think Guinness Book of World Records actually also owns Ripley's Believe It or Not.
That makes sense, because I think they sold it off.
Yeah, real monopoly on interesting factoids.
Yeah, I could see Ripley's picking that up.
Yeah.
Probably just for the namesake, if anything.
Yeah. And I guess I don't know the history behind Ripley's. I didn't look that one up, but that would be an interesting one.
Because I think they were a TV show, but probably also like a book like that too.
Yeah, I would almost bet it started as maybe some traveling thing, because it has always had a very like sideshowy vibe.
Oh, well, now that you say that, yeah, maybe it was a sideshow first, but I know there was a TV show.
And also the Guinness Book of World Records had a TV show.
Yeah, but that was more like late 90s?
Yeah.
Or Ripley's, I think. I remember being a kid.
I think I went to a Ripley's, believe it or not, in California one year.
On Hollywood?
Yeah.
I've been to that one.
Yeah, that was a cool one. Is that where they have the two-headed cow, I think? If you remember. I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't remember. I know they had Aleister Crowley's chair or something that they said he did a lot of Satan stuff in.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I remember I reached over and touched it. And I'm I wonder if I cursed myself now.
Got a little devil in you.
Yeah. Because of course there's signs that says don't touch and all this, and it's
Dave
behind
always
ropes.
has to touch.
Yeah.
Real rule breaker over here.
Right. Do you know who this is up your alley with your Kings shirt on?
Oh.
Greatest hockey player of all time?
Wayne Gretzky, number 98?
Number
99.
99.
98 is Connor McDavid.
Was that
the next one?
Canada something national? They don't have like a cute name. It's like
the Oilers?
I don't know.
Connor McDavid plays for the Oilers. Gretzky put most of his numbers up on the Oilers.
Oh, I thought it was like I was trying. I should have wrote it down, but it was like the Canadian national commit something. It didn't have like a cool name like the Penguins or the Oilers.
There is also the Canadians.
Yeah.
The Montreal Canadiens.
Well, I guess he played for a bunch because he played for the Rangers too, didn't he?
Yeah, Gretzky played for the Oilers, then the Kings, then the Rangers, then the Blues.
Oh, okay. But he has the most points because I guess hockey has a point system.
Yep.
And his career points is 2,857. And the second guy on the list, Jaromir
Jerome
Jagr. Yeah. His points 1,921.
Mm-hmm. He was on the Penguins, Jerome Jagr, and he now I think plays and owns like a Czech team.
Yeah.
So he's still big into hockey. He's like one of the oldest hockey players right now, but he left the American National League.
Yeah. Yeah, but Wayne Gretzky is 1,000 points above him. And they said even if you take all of his goals out of the equation, he's still like a couple hundred above this guy.
Yeah.
Because he's got 40 regular season records. Some of them are most goals in a season, 92. Most goals in one period.
How many is that?
4.
4.
Yeah. Most assists in one season, 163. So he was a team player.
Yeah. He and I don't know how much I should say because I don't know what you got written down, but he actually, when people talk about his playing, people who don't know hockey will be like, yeah, Wayne Gretzky's got the most goals, but people who know hockey will bring up the fact that like he's got over double the amount of assists than he does goals.
Yeah. He actually won the Lady Byng Memorial Trophy for sportsmanship, gentlemanly conduct, and high standard of playing ability 5 times.
Damn. That's cool.
Because he wasn't like a goon.
Yeah. Well, that was in the time of like true goons where like, have you seen the movie Goon?
Yeah.
That's a good one. But like that movie portrays a guy who can hardly skate. Like he learns how to skate just to be on a hockey team.
Right.
And that's how teams used to be run. Like when he got traded, I believe, to the Kings, he put into his contract that he had to take one of the goons that protected him to the Kings because in that time there was a lot less sportsmanlike conduct,
right.
and people would headhunt and literally try to hurt star players so they didn't score.
And that was their defense.
Yep,
smash them into the boards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, if you watch old Flyers footage, every other game there were whole bench clears, fucking slap shot style. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That he's got 15 playoff records, and he's got the most playoff goals per career with 122. He's got 6 All-Star records, which is different than the regular season records, but in the All-Star game, he's got most goals in one game, which is 4, and in that same game, all 4 of those goals were in one period.
Wow. Which is actually not saying a lot, because if you watch the All-Star games now, a regular hockey game is like you're getting to like four goals to 5 goals in like a high-scoring game, like an average game. If you get the worst team and the best team playing together, it's kind of a runaway.
It can get lopsided.
Yeah, but in All-Stars games, it's generally like almost making it to 10 on each side.
But yeah, I guess an All-Stars game, because anytime you watch a hockey, like 3 is like impressive.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, when you have every good player, and I feel bad for the goalies watching it, because like the goalies are also all-star goalies.
Yeah.
But you can't watch when you're playing a team. You generally know who the star player is. You know who's going to get the puck. If you're playing against the past Blackhawks, they traded Patrick Kane, but you know you're going to be guarding Patrick Kane because he's making all their points.
Yeah.
But when you're playing against 4 Patrick Kanes, you got no chance.
Yeah. And especially if they're like can work well together.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Yeah, Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, Gretzky was like when he retired, they actually retired his number across all teams.
Yeah, because I guess he actually helped build up some teams too, like their structure and how it's run and how it's coached and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to stay on sports for just a minute,
the
Harlem Globetrotters just recently broke like 13 world records.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I watched a video on it. Just to name a few, furthest behind the back alley-oop slam dunk was 51 feet 2 inches, and then the furthest just alley-oop slam dunk was 99 feet and 96 inches.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know how long a basketball court is, but that's got to be like over the basketball.
Like over halfway.
Yeah, way over halfway. The most threes by a pair in 1 minute was 23.
Yeah.
So like not only were they making them, but like they were alternating the shots.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, so the most blindfolded slam dunks was in 1 minute was 9, and it was kind of funny because they had to like put the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
And this dude was like 6'5", so he barely had to jump. But even then, he was like he missed a lot.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny to watch him make
watch him try.
I mean, he made probably over half of them. Farthest through the legs shot, so it was like he was like hiking the football.
Oh, okay, not like a granny shot.
Yeah, was 63 feet and 9 inches, and that was like essentially the opposite side free throw line.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was cool because in between all of the records, they would just be like spinning the ball and like doing all the fancy Harlem Globetrotter shit. Maybe you really want to go see a game again. I saw one when I was a little kid, but it's been a while.
Well, do they travel with the team that they beat all the time, or do they get the local team to kind of come out?
No, it's a show. They play the Governors, I think, or the Generals. They play the Generals,
yeah, that's what I thought. Because I mean, well, we don't have a team, but back when we had the Thunder, I'm like, I wonder if they play the local team, but then it's like the local team's in on it, so they're not like getting pissed off.
Yeah. And it's very much a show. Like, they do a bunch of wacky stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been so long since I've seen them live, but I just think of like the Futurama episode with the Harlem Globetrotters, and they like have the ball on a string and they like pretend to pass it and then pull it back, and two of the other team members
smash into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one.
Okay.
One last one on the Harlem Globetrotters. Most times catching a spinning basketball on your finger. So, like, you know how guys, like, spin it on their finger?
Yeah.
And this guy was, like, tossing it up and catching it. He did it 26 times.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah. That's the guy that probably was in high school that just had the basketball and was spinning it the whole time.
The guy that did it was, I think he was from Europe because he had a pretty thick accent.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting where they get those guys from.
Yeah. I got another guy that does feats of or human feats.
Okay.
Not feats of strength per se, but kind of Wim Hof.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Iceman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and according to him, just by positive thinking and breathing, controlling your breathing, you can sit in ice.
Yeah.
But it's also like a health thing, I guess. Like,
to kind of bump off that for just a second, I did a like ice shower, which is a cold shower. So I, took a regular shower, washed myself, and then I just let all cold water on I did it like on the back of my neck and shoulders. I could only do it for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But it was like, it kind of made me feel high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what he says. Like, you start with 30, and he recommends 2, but eventually you can get
2 seconds.
No.
Oh.
Start with 30 seconds and then work your way up to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry, clarify that. But he actually used to have the world record for the longest contact with ice. But he would do an ice bath, and he did it for an hour and 52 minutes in 2007. But then this Valerian Romanovsky in 2022 did it for 3 hours and 28 minutes. But I didn't look his up. I didn't know if he was in an ice bath.
I did look his up, and it was like a plexiglass like box.
Yeah.
And they just like dumped the ice on him.
Okay.
And did you say how long he was in there for?
3 hours and 28 minutes.
Yeah. And like when they took him out, they took his temperature, and it was like I have it written here. His body temperature was 91.4 degrees.
Yeah.
Which is like pretty cold. It's supposed to be like 98.
Yeah.
So,
well, that was the Wim Hof. He also did 2 hours longer, or an hour and a half longer. But Wim Hof, when they pulled him out, he was still at 98.9 degrees because his thing is he says he can raise his body temperature or lower it just by breathing.
Yeah. Well, I think Wim Hof also has some other world records too.
Yeah, he swam under ice for 188.6 feet.
Holy smokes.
And that probably like 3 of those feet is him missing the hole because he was on Joe Rogan and he said his irises froze.
Oh.
So he couldn't really see where he was going.
Focus.
Yeah, and so like he passed it and they had to come back and feel and then pop himself back up.
Yeah, I almost thought you were going to say like his eyelids froze shut or something.
No, it said like eyeballs themselves. Like he could just see light.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And when you're looking up at ice, like probably all light looks pretty the same.
Yeah. Fastest half marathon barefoot on snow.
Whoa.
But that one is kind of like, who else is running a marathon barefooted on snow?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of these, when I was looking at Guinness, was like, who would think to do that?
Yeah. I think I saw one not too long ago that was like most pairs of underwear put on in a minute. And they just they just lined it up and they had the clock going and then they just would like walk and step into it and pull it up. I'm like, yeah, who would think to do that?
Yeah.
Like, he's also climbed 240,000 feet up Mount Everest in just shorts.
Yeah.
And he couldn't make the summit because he had like a foot problem, like some reoccurring foot injury.
Yeah, probably his feet were frozen.
Yeah.
His muscles weren't working right or something.
Well, he's climbed to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro in just shorts.
Oh, wow.
And he's done it. That's
so like the amount he climbed on Everest must have been taller than Kilimanjaro?
I think so,
wow.
yeah. But Kilimanjaro, I think, is part of his like workshop or whatever that you can go do.
Because I know he does live in Europe, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know where Kilimanjaro is, but he must live kind of close to
Africa.
Africa.
I could be wrong.
I don't know. Put it in the show notes below. We could look it up, but I don't.
Well, actually, I think it's in that song "Africa" by Toto.
Hey, I'll allow it.
All right. But his like workshop that he does. I think if you go through the whole like deluxe, get the deluxe package.
The deluxe package.
You know, he teaches you everything, and then at the end is you climb to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, and he's also not just the Iceman because he's ran an entire marathon in the Niobe Desert with no food or water.
Wow.
Yeah, and they said that he was like in the dehydration zone, like when they tested him and stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, I could probably drink some water and a couple beers."
I saw this guy, Eric Badlands Booker.
Yeah,
and he has the world record of fastest time to drink a 1 liter of soda. You want to guess how fast he drank it in?
5 seconds.
Close.
Yeah.
6.8 seconds.
6.8 seconds.
He also, and so shout out to his YouTube, Badlands Chugs.
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
And it looks like on his YouTube, all he does is drink, liters of soda.
Yeah.
He had like a boot of like green beer, I think, for
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he also holds the record for 2 liters of soda. You want to guess how long that took him?
Well,
1 liter was 6.8.
So I'll say 8. 8.5.
Wrong again, Dave.
Nope.
16.45 seconds.
Oh, because I was like, oh, you double it, it'd be like 12, but I'll just give him the benefit. It just took him 2 extra seconds.
Yeah. And then he also holds the record for drinking a 1 liter of tomato juice. You want to? Okay, so take your reply into account. And how long do you think it took him to drink that?
10 seconds.
A minute.
A minute?
A minute and 18 seconds.
I think that's when I can try to beat.
Yeah?
Do
you like tomato juice?
I can chug a V8 pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am not a huge fan of tomatoes, so I don't drink tomato juice.
I don't think it would be that bad. Was it a liter? Is that what you said?
A liter, yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't even know. Well, I guess you get a 2 liter of soda pop.
Yeah.
I don't know how much juices come in. Probably like gallon, half gallon.
Yeah, they probably come in gallons.
Yeah.
Not that liter cola. But that's like the guy on that old Comedy Central show, The Man Show.
Yeah.
Where they had the piano player. And
yeah.
And at the end of the show, he had 2 pints that he would just do like shots.
Yeah. Man, I got to look up that song. That was a pretty funny song, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just a German song.
What's that called where like a limerick? Was it a limerick?
No, it was just a German song. They sing it if you go to Busch Gardens and you go to the German section.
Oh, okay.
At least the one in Virginia, because they have like the world sections. Mm-hmm. And then it's I think on the show it was different, but it's like tiki taki, oi, oi, oi. And you it's like a chant.
Okay.
It's more like a chant before you like.
Sounds like a soccer team thing.
Kinda, yeah.
Or like that the rugby team in New Zealand.
Oh yeah.
And it's like a whole dance they do.
It's like that's Polynesian thing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the warring clans would do a little like prayer dance thing before they got into
Intimidation factor.
Yeah.
Another thing I saw was the largest stack of eggs.
The large stack of eggs.
Yeah, how many eggs do you think they stacked up?
8.
Close-ish. 4.
4. Yeah, because I think there's a thing like largest stack of donuts, and you're like, oh, how high could you stack donuts? And it's only like 10.
Yeah. Before they become structurally unstable, they can't support the weight of each other.
Or they just fall over.
But that was on a video, and it was interesting to watch to see the eggs stacked, because it's like the points of contact are so small.
Yeah, because they're round.
Oblong.
Oh, so you're doing it like
vertically.
Oh,
so he put like I think the heavy part on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then stacked the heavy part on the smaller part.
Oh, okay.
Stack of 4.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe sweating the whole time.
Yeah.
There was a guy in France. He was a free diver, and he has the longest breath hold.
Okay.
Do you know how long he held his breath for underwater? Voluntarily?
Voluntarily. Voluntarily. People have held it longer, but it was involuntarily. Yeah. They were being tortured. I'm going to go with 37 minutes.
Oh, 24. 24 minutes and 3 seconds.
Okay. Also, shout out to the Daredevils episode with Daredevil Brian.
Yeah,
that was a good episode. This researching this made me think of that.
Yeah, I thought about it too, because there was a guy that was like the highest dive,
free jump or something. Oh, highest dive, yeah.
Yeah, but it was all simultaneously the highest cliff jump also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. Maybe like 1,000 feet or something.
Yeah, check that episode out.
Yeah. But that's the guy that I looked up that made me think of the episode we did with Brian. And then I have one thing that kind of goes together, but I looked up the definition for hysterical strength.
Okay. That's like mom strength type thing, right?
Yeah, it's a display of extreme physical strength by humans beyond what is believed to be normal, usually occurring when people are in or perceive themselves to be in life or death situations.
Yeah, it's like why a mom could lift a car to save a baby or something like that.
Yeah, there was a 22-year-old Lauren Cornick who lifted, her dad was underneath their Beamer.
Oh, really?
Working on it, and the jack broke, and she was able to lift the car herself, pull her dad out, and then start giving him CPR, and ended up saving his life.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know if I could do that for anybody.
Because there was one just recently where some kid lifted the truck off his dad.
Damn.
So his dad could like shimmy his way out of there. And his dad said he didn't even know what happened. Like he felt the truck fall on him, and then it like relieved the pressure, and he shimmied his way out. And yeah, it was his son just like muscled that thing up.
That's wild.
That is wild.
Some of the most recent world records broken, February 2023, as of the time of recording.
Yeah.
Most concrete blocks broken by back kick in 30 seconds.
Oh,
Podcat. That was by Udhaya Kumar in India, and he broke 12 blocks. And to me, it's interesting, like, between that one and you were talking about the underwear and the Harlem Globetrotters, you really got to, like, put a lot of things in motion to be able to set a world record.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of world records before it was, like, popular, could have been, like, a basketball team or, like, Wayne Gretzky. Like, how many points he makes in a game, but there's probably other people who have set records that's like furthest goal,
right?
But it would be like not during a game. You know?
And it's, I guess for like Guinness, it's also like a very strict to be able to get in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you have to like send them a tape, but it has to be like you have to have a continuously running clock in the shot, so you can't just have your friend like moving the camera around.
Yeah.
So it has to be like a steady cam shot with no cuts.
Well, it's like, have you ever seen King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters?
Yes.
That guy sends in a tape that like cuts out halfway through.
Yeah, or it gets like fuzzy.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, like,
And they still gave it to him, those cheating sons of bitches.
bastards. I have.
Oh, let me finish this one.
Oh, shit.
February 2023. Ashraf Suleiman in Egypt pulled a 221.6 ton train. I didn't see how far he pulled it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of weird because it's like on tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
But also, this is one I think I could do if you'd be willing to step in for me. Rick Smith Jr. of the United States, most cards thrown around a human target in 1 minute.
Just around it.
Yeah. So it was 56, so just over a full deck.
All right.
But he had a guy standing there, and they had like an outline drawn that was like a foot around like every body part of him.
Yeah.
And he was like, it was on like a foam board.
Okay.
So every card he was throwing was like sticking in there.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna have to try that one, Dave.
Okay, that makes sense. I thought like if you just stand there, you're like, well, I can throw cards and try to hit you, and they're gonna go all around you.
All I have to do is try to hit you, and I'll for sure miss.
Yeah.
And then the fastest time to tie a Windsor knot was Furace Shaban, and I wrote the name here really bad. His name could be a little bit different. Furace Shaban. He was from the United States, and it took him 10.92 seconds. Way faster than I can tie a tie.
Yeah.
And it looked really good.
Is it a single Windsor?
I believe a single Windsor.
Okay.
That's the only kind I can tie.
Yeah, that's the only kind I can. I'm trying to think about it in my head. I'm like, I mean, if I practiced, but 10 seconds, that's pretty quick.
It was super quick. And, like, I know I've had a custom tie made for me once.
Yeah.
And I know, like, you have to for it to really look good, it's got to be, like, a certain length. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it was, like, a professionally made tie for him.
Yeah.
But, like, dude, his, like, the two little legs were, like, almost perfect in line. So, I mean, not only did he tie it really well, or not only did he tie it fast, but he did it really well.
And then you got to pull it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a while, but I know the gist.
And that's it for, well, those were just some of the ones I liked. From
Some
February.
of the really quick easy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a human feat, but it's the longest race in the world.
Oh, is it the Cannonball Run?
No, that's driving. A
Oh,
foot
okay.
race.
Oh, okay.
It's called the Self-Transcendence 30. Damn it. Self-Transcendence 3100,
Good.
which is also known, because that's a mouthful, as the Siri Chinmoy Marathon, which was started by Siri Chinmoy, who was an Indian spiritual leader.
Okay.
It started back in 1997 in Queens, in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's
I expected it to be foreign.
yeah, but it's, like I said, 3,100 miles, and you have 52 days to complete it.
Oh, okay.
And they just run on one city block in Queens.
Oh, okay.
And
God, that'd be like, you'd have to go around in a circle, like
I think they said something like 6,952 times. But
you can take breaks and stuff.
yeah, you start at 6, and you can run as much as you want until midnight, and then you have to take 6 hours off.
Oh, okay.
And then the next day they run the opposite.
It's probably good that they put that in.
Yeah.
Hopefully they enforce it, because you can like go crazy by not getting sleep, right?
Right, but they do enforce it. One of the stipulations is when you run it is if the doctor says you have to stop, you can't bitch. You have to stop, because if you start complaining, they'll be like, well, you can't do this ever again.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's like, if you run the whole time, that's an average of 60 miles a day.
Wow.
And at like a 3.5 mile pace, or 3.5 mile an hour pace.
Wow.
Which, to put in perspective, on my lunch half hour, I can do an hour and 20 minutes with like a brisk walk.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, some days you probably want to like stock up miles.
Compile miles.
And not just be like power walking the whole time.
Yeah.
All the runners that they interviewed were very introspective and being like, it's about like peace and like showing people that the world can be better and being inspirational for the world. And like,
yeah, because from what I hear from Justin X, and probably a little bit from Brad, who is another guy that I used to work with, he talks about like it's a long time to be alone with yourself.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point. That's why it's called transcendental or whatever, because it's actually he derived it as a form of meditation so that way you could like reach some kind of enlightenment while you're doing it.
I imagine he started it because it was like he had like an office where he practiced on that block.
Yeah.
And then he would just go out for walks.
Yeah. But he also he was like one of those marathon runners and ultra marathon runners. And he realized that when you're out there, it's like forced meditation.
Yeah. That's some David Goggins stuff.
Yeah. They say it's like the only race that in the middle of it, you have to get a haircut.
That's funny.
Because you're out there for 52 days.
Yeah.
And they say the average people go through about like 20 pairs of running shoes.
Whoa, I wouldn't even consider that. That's a financial investment.
Yeah, because you're pretty much doing 22 marathons or 2 marathons a day.
Wow.
Because a marathon is like 2 or what is it? Say? Okay, if it's 30, it's like around 30 miles is a marathon.
Wow.
So if you're doing 60 a day, it's 2 marathons a day. And usually with only like 5 hours of sleep, because you get that 6-hour break, but you still want to like take a shower, take care of your feet, and then lay down for some sleep.
Just catch some Z's.
Yeah, and this one lady said like once like her body got used to it and she could do that 15-minute power nap, she's like sleep for 15 minutes and it'd feel like 5 hours had gone by.
Yeah.
And like super rested and like get back on it.
Well, then there was I don't know if she was on Rogan or they were talking about her on Rogan, but there was the woman who set like the fastest time for some super long race.
Yeah.
Like the longest ultra marathon, I think it is. She slept for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And she like woke up in a panic and was like, "Why'd you let me sleep so long?" And the guy was like, "You like just closed your eyes."
Yeah, I saw that one because I don't think it was that race, but she was talking about a race that she won before.
Yeah.
Where she actually like went blind for the last like mile.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it was just from the jarring, like her corneas got a little messed up, or if she was just like so tired and like spent that that part shut off.
Yeah. Well, and a shout out to my brother-in-law. He actually has done several ultra marathons.
Really?
Yeah. He did. I think there's one that's fairly local. Mine's of Spain.
Oh yeah, that's up in Dubuque.
Yeah, it's a 100-mile race.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually a lot of them are like 100 miles.
Yeah. I think he also has, so he's always been into fitness and more so pushing his body. But I think he went to, not Scott, Davenport North.
Yeah.
I believe. And I think he has like a couple of records for like weightlifting at his high school.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a very mentally strong person for being able to do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. So a lot of that you have to be mentally strong because they say like you can do whatever. You can like listen to music or whatever, but a lot of that, even though you might have that little distraction, it's still a lot of your mental fortitude to be able to just keep going, especially if you're on the same block and you're running by that like the main station.
Yeah.
And you're like, anytime I could just stop. I could just stop right here and be done. Only 52 people as of this year have completed it.
Oh, wow. That's still more than I would have thought.
Yeah, and there's 6,000 people have summited Everest.
Wow.
Yeah, but only 52 people have completed this. And a lot of those people will come back and like complete it 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah, there's one lady that has done it 13 times.
Holy smokes.
For 13 years in a row.
And I bet, like you were saying about running around the block, like you run around the block and see that same, oh, this is my third lap. So the B bus is showing up and picking people up. And
yeah, and where they run is like a kind of residential neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
And so they're running by a school. And the one guy's like, it's cool because it's hard to you get tired and stuff, but yet sometimes you get really euphoric and happy because you run by these kids and everybody waves at you every time you do a lap.
Yeah, because they're probably seeing people do it, maybe not all the time, but
once a year. Yeah, these guys are doing it.
Oh, is it a certain block of time?
Yeah, it's it's in the summer.
Oh,
but yet
okay.
It's always the same months.
Oh, okay. I thought it was maybe you go and you just have to do this lap so many times.
Oh no, it's it's an actual thing they set up and
so multiple
ready,
people
start.
Maybe doing it.
Yeah, I think they only get 11 people a year.
Oh, okay.
Or because you have to prove that you've done other marathons because you can't just Joe Smo can't just go up there and start running it. It's not like the Bix. Yeah. And then a lot of them are returning. It seems like the people that have finished it, they find some kind of enlightenment, and so then they're like, I'm gonna do this again.
Yeah,
it's like an addiction kind of.
I have heard that about running.
Yeah, because this one lady said she reached enlightenment in the whatever day she was on, 35. She saw herself but from the outside, and it kind of freaked her out. But then the next night she got up to that same point and she saw herself from the outside again, and she was like, you go, girl.
Give it self-motivation.
Yeah, this is kind of
psychedelic self-motivation.
Yeah, and it's repetitive because you're on the same block, but it can also get up to 100 degrees. And yeah, just running on pavement.
Yeah.
And that's gotta suck. And it often rains. A lot of the documentary I was watching, there's pouring down rain. And they also don't close the streets or anything, so you have to dodge people on the sidewalk.
Okay.
And you have to get 10,000 calories a day, pretty much.
That's
and
a
this
lot.
one guy said he was running with a bag of chips because you have to pretty much move while you're eating.
Yeah.
And he ran by this guy, and the guy's like, "Really, man?" And he's he probably just thinks I'm out for a run eating potato chips, but I'm doing this whole big marathon thing.
Somebody running by eating a big tray of chicken Alfredo.
Yeah. Well, they said mostly. This one lady said she was just constantly sipping soup the whole time.
That'd be a good one.
And then this guy from Switzerland said he vanilla ice cream.
Oh.
Kind of melty vanilla ice cream. And I'm like, oh, how can you
That's a lot of dairy.
Yeah, and you're running and sweaty. Yeah. Yeah, but I thought that one was cool.
Yeah, for sure. I saw a guy who did a horizontal plank.
Okay.
How long do you think you could do a horizontal plank for?
Right now, if I push myself, probably 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Yeah, I could maybe do 5 minutes, gun to my head.
Yeah.
This guy did it for 9 hours and 30 minutes and 1 second.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know. I just feel like your arms would just be locked in that position.
Yeah, well, and you know how when you get to, a couple of minutes and your whole body starts shaking?
Yeah.
That's what his whole body was doing after the 9 hours.
Oh, yeah. And once you
visibly
start moving, you're yeah.
Yeah. And then Mohad Rashid from Pakistan, he's a martial artist.
Yeah.
And he crushed 256 walnuts with his elbow. So he was doing elbow drops on and they like I was talking about before, you have to kind of set it up.
Yeah.
Because you can't be picking up walnuts out of a bag or nothing.
Yeah, that'll take up your time.
Yeah, so he had this huge long table and he's just it was pretty funny.
That is cool. Have you seen the that one lady that smashes cans with her boob?
Yeah, I've seen that. Did they call her Boobzilla or something?
Something, I don't know, because I know she was on that Guinness thing, trying to bust so many watermelons
with her also boobs.
Yeah, and then she would just set up on the table and be like, and it was one of those things where if it didn't break, you just go to the next one. You don't stop. You just keep going.
Yeah, I've seen like women crush watermelons with their legs.
Yeah, a couple of weird ones.
Let's hear them, Dave.
Uh,
Save the weirdest for the lastest.
there was a guy named Tarare,
Okay.
and he was in France in the 1700s.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really know too much about his early life, but he got kicked out of his home because he couldn't stop eating.
Whoa.
And his parents just couldn't pay for him, so they kicked him out onto the street, where they said he just would start just eating garbage and like dead.
That's got to be a mental disease.
Yeah, like he just never got full. And he ended up with like some street toughs, but they ran into law too much, so then he started doing street performing and just
This
eating.
guy will eat anything.
Yeah, people would come and he would eat like a basket of apples and just be like, gluk, gluk, gluk.
Whoa.
Yeah, and he ended up going to the hospital after eating a bunch of flint and getting like an intestinal blockage.
Like Flint the Rock?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because he would eat rocks and cans and just anything. He
Yeah.
would just stick it in his mouth.
Back in the sideshow days, I was trying to, like, some of the things you do to freak people out is like eat worms.
Yeah.
And one thing I was doing, and I never did this in a show, but eating glass
Yeah.
off of like a light bulb, and you really just grind it up in your teeth enough
Really
to not.
cut yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's,
Yeah, but
I
this,
never did it for a show.
but yeah, this guy would eat anything. Live puppies, kittens.
What the
Yeah.
what the front door?
Right. And then he joined the army or whatever during the French Revolution, and
He was the head of the puppy eating patrol.
puppy patrol. But like he would never get full, and so he was like
Constantly in the mess hall.
and like eating people's like books and shit, like stealing stuff from them to eat. And they finally gave him like quadruple rations, but it still wasn't like enough. And one of his commanders was like, "Oh, I have an idea. Let's get this wooden box and put a message in it and see if he can eat it. And then if it comes out, and when it came out, they're like, oh, the message is still in the box. So then they gave him a box to try to go, do spy stuff.
Yeah.
So you can like send a message.
Wow.
But everybody else was like, I don't think he's that bright. And
Eating wooden boxes.
yeah,
Books.
but so they're like, okay, well, we want him to give this message to this one current guy over on enemy lines, but they just pretty much asked like, hey, what kind of troop movements is going on over there? They didn't like give any secret information. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like 2 days into his like task, he got caught.
Got caught trying to eat a bunch of fence posts.
I don't know. He just got caught, and like after like a couple of hours of interrogation, he told him the whole plan. But then they were pissed off because the only thing in the box was like, "Hey, what are the troop movements?" And like,
some 4-star general having to pick out a bunch of boxes from.
yeah. So they just beat him up and like kicked him back over the enemy lines.
They were gonna keep him as a prisoner of war, but he kept eating all their food.
Yeah,
Kept eating his way out of jail.
just super annoying. And like, he was in this hospital, like in the army doctor was like, well, you should study him and see what this is. But I guess he kind of was smelly.
Oh,
And so the other people were like, and he's like, no, we can figure it out. But and he was trying to cure him by giving him like soft boiled eggs, tobacco pills, sour wine, just trying to get his appetite to be like, oh, that's gross. I don't want to eat that. But he was still like sneaking out of the hospital to go get like offal out of the back of the butchers and like just garbage because he just had to keep shoving his mouth. And they said they found him one time in the morgue trying to like get into the dead bodies.
get me in there.
Yeah, and then the last straw was when a 14-month-old came up missing, and nobody knew, but everybody was like,
In the town that he was living in.
no, in the hospital because he was at a hospital because they were like checking
even
him out.
Even more narrow search.
Yeah, especially the guy who tried to eat a dead body.
Yeah.
And then, so then they kicked him out, and then it kind of went dark for a while on what he was doing, but they figured he was probably street performing. Because then he turned up back at a different hospital talking about stomach pains because he said he ate a gold fork. But then it turned out he had tuberculosis, and he died a couple months later. And because he was so
Didn't even die by like some sort of eating thing.
Yeah, but they wanted to do an autopsy on him, but nobody would do it because he stunk and his body was like starting to decay like rapidly.
Yeah.
But they finally got one guy to do it, and the most they got out is they found out that his like gullet was like wider than normal. And the doctor said by prying open his jaws, you could see into his stomach.
Oh, smokes.
Which was just like covered in this green pussy stuff. And then they didn't get much farther than that because the guy was like, I can't. The smell is too bad. Just get rid of this body.
Yeah.
So it was almost like he just had a direct line to his stomach. You could just shove shit in.
Well, yeah, like talking about eating whole puppies or like...
Yeah, and kittens.
And like a box. I mean, I guess if you
or
make
just
the
swallowing
box
whole apples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that... I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I could hardly fit a full apple in my mouth.
Right, let alone just swallow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said he might have some kind of like thyroid or some kind of issue. But
there was definitely some sort of mutation on that dude.
Yeah.
Like, what was that X-Men? Not the Juggernaut, but like the really fat one. Yeah,
something.
the Blob.
Yeah. But he was only 100 pounds.
What the
Yeah, but
crazy metabolism.
But his stomach was super distended.
Oh.
And took up most of his abdomen. And when he was empty, he could like wrap the skin around himself.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They make them all kinds of ways.
Right.
When God made that one, he broke the mold.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I don't know.
No more of these.
He's like, what if we put a conveyor belt from the mouth straight to the stomach? And then he's like, that wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, he gotta learn.
Yeah. I got one more gruesome one.
Oh, let's hear it. The gruesome twosome.
Well, it's not that gruesome, but it kind of is. There's this Buddhist monk practice called Soku Shin Bu Shu. It started back in 1835 AD, and it's this rigorous, not exercise, but routine.
Okay.
That only 24 monks have ever completed successfully. Mm-hmm. And it's like this one Shingon monk realized there was a way to get enlightenment, like there was a straight path to enlightenment, because to get into enlightenment there's so many ways and meditations and things, and there was no clear path on how to achieve it. Because I have books about Buddhism and all these monks, and it seems like all the great like teachers all had different methods of how to get there, and this guy gave him like one. He's like, this is the one sure way to get enlightenment. And
I can't wait to hear this. It's gonna be something like terrible.
But in phase one,
kill your parents.
No.
Oh.
But there's like a Japanese word for it, but it's pretty much the tree eating phase.
Okay.
Where you have to go out and collect for 1,000 days. You eat nothing except for what trees can provide you. So like seeds and bark and pine needles and roots. And they said like even some of the monks would eat small rocks.
For 1,000 days, that's like just shy of 3 years, right?
Take your word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they would meditate and they'd work out, and they would eat small rocks to make themselves feel full. And once they completed that, if they were ready, they went to phase 2.
So you're like almost like fasting, but you're taking in just like you're filling your belly with like stuff you just can't digest. So you feel full.
Well, the rock parts feel full, but the tree parts you can digest.
Yeah.
Like seeds and pine needles and certain roots and things. But it said some monks, if they didn't feel like they were ready for the second stage, they would repeat the first one or two times. And then phase 2 is a part where you just all you really do is meditate for 100 straight days, and all you're ingesting is like a little bit of salt water and then this tea that's pretty much made out of poison ivy.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and it's like super like itchy internally, like, and you just have to like push through it and stay meditating. And
It's like a really forceful way to like overcome physical pain,
discomfort.
Yeah.
And and it also like gives you the poops and makes you vomit a bunch.
I would bet.
But then pretty much phase 2, once you enter phase 2, there's no going back. That's why they repeat phase 1, a lot of times. And
No going back.
yeah, but then after 100 days of that, phase 3 is they make you a pine box that's just your size.
Oh god, Dave.
That only you can only sit lotus position in.
Like you can't even lay down, you can only sit
Loaded, yeah.
Oh.
And
So it's like smaller than your body.
yeah.
Oh my god.
And they put you in a hole 10 feet down with a breathing tube and then cover you in charcoal.
Charcoal?
Yeah. I don't know, but that's what they do.
Filters through fresh water for you to drink?
I don't know. You just have that one like breathing hole and you just are constantly meditating or sleeping. And you ring, it's for several days. And once a day you ring this bell.
Mm-hmm.
So people up top,
You're still alive.
know you're still alive. Yeah. And then once the bell stops ringing, they wait 100 days and then they dig you out. Or wait, they wait 1,000 days and then they dig you up and they open up the box. And if you're mummified, that's a signal that you've reached enlightenment.
So this guy never did it.
I think he might have. I think he did it, and then people were like, "This is the way," because then they clean you up and then dress you in monk robes and put you in temples, and then they come and like worship you.
Well, you become like a mummified statue.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's pictures of it online.
Oh my
I'll have to
gosh.
remember to put it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, for sure.
But pretty much the thought, I don't know if this logic tracks, but Buddhists believe in reincarnation and life is suffering, and you get reincarnated, you suffer,
Yeah,
you die, you get
when you drink
Yeah.
poison ivy tea, life
Right.
is suffering.
Yeah, but and then once you reach nirvana is when you like reach enlightenment, and then you stop the cycle. And they think this is a way to like beat the system, is because if you're a mummy, if you're mummified, then your body's still there, so you've kind of cheated death because you don't decompose and disappear.
Okay.
And so then it's a way to take yourself out of the loop and then into like a ticket to nirvana.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, the math adds up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
It'd be interesting to know how many people did do this.
I don't know how many people have tried it, but only 24 were successful.
Whoa.
And probably a lot of people drop out at stage 1.
Yeah.
We try, because what happens is you're just eating sticks and pine needles and stuff, and so you're like fasting, and it also shrinks your body down, and it gets rid of some of your like gut biome.
Mm-hmm.
And then the tea cleanses you out some more and also gets rid of the bacteria.
Oh, and that's why you don't get like biodegrade.
Yeah, because you pretty much kill all the bacteria in your body that's going
Huh.
to eat you from the inside out.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but only if you were like pure,
Yeah.
you turn into a mummy. Because some people get to that part
Well,
and they
and
open it, and if they show signs of decomposition, they just put them back in the hole and cover them up.
Huh. And that makes sense for the charcoal, so you wouldn't have worms and bugs being able to get to you, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it dries out the soil around you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it became illegal in 19th century
Oh.
in Japan. Finally in the 19th century, after 1,000 years of doing this, they're like, maybe we shouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, and of course they're like, well, some monks might still do it in secret, but I don't know.
They're always trying to take something away from you, the government.
Right. That's like the ultimate human feat, if you mummify yourself.
Oh, you're not joking.
Right. Jeez.
Oh, another interesting episode.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. We got new stickers on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to try to get them into Abernathy's.
Yes.
'Cause we don't have some new stickers that aren't in there.
Huh?
We have the cow one.
That aren't in there?
Yeah.
Maybe we do.
I didn't see the cow last time I was in there.
Oh, probably not. I could have dropped the ball on that one.
Oh.
I'll have to get that one in there. But yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. If you like this episode, you probably like the Daredevil episode.
Yeah, that's got some more human feet records.
Yeah, and let us know any records you have always found interesting. So,
or if you yourself have a record.
Oh yeah, or maybe one you think you could do. I'm gonna try that card one day.
The card one.
Yeah.
All right.
But you guys be good to yourselves.
Yes, and remember, it's not the size of the ocean; it's the boat that you take on your journey.
Beautiful.
No.
Now are we ready, Dave?
I guess so. I don't know. I forgot I had to do that thing.